Hey everyone, I'm back and today we're going to be talking about Under Siege. And this movie came out in 1992 and it stars Steven Seagal. And I thought this movie wasn't the best thing ever. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. It was just okay for most of it. And ultimately, it just feels like Die Hard, but on a boat. And it kind of has a lot of what I liked about Die Hard missing. And while there are things that I like about it, I think the action is okay. And, there's some fun scenes that go along with that. There isn't anything memorable about it. The dialogue isn't good. It's really cheesy. And that's kind of what they're going for. But at the same time, the tone is kind of taking itself really seriously. And because of that, it doesn't really flow very well with the cheese that is in the movie. And there's some really pointless characters in this movie, and they just don't add anything to the movie. And I thought the villain sucked in this movie. Tommy Lee Jones, I didn't buy his character, and he was just really weird and goofy. And I was like, what am I watching? It's like I'm not watching a character, I'm just watching a crazy person on the screen. And I'm going to talk about Steven Seagal for a minute. I did not buy him in this movie. And that might also have to do with the fact that I don't like his character. And all we know about his character is that he likes to cook. And he is like a trained person who can do anything. And he's pretty much invincible in every scene that he's in. Like every action scene in this movie, he's like invincible. He doesn't get a scratch. Up until the last action scene that happens in the movie, he gets like a cut right above his eyebrow, and that is it. And this movie follows a very predictable and boring storyline, and it's just some guys really wanting money, and our hero gets in the way of that, and things kind of go wrong, and it just becomes Die Hard after that. And there's nothing really memorable or all that great about it, and the music sucked in this movie. I did not like it one bit. The first 15 minutes of this movie were so boring, and nothing happened, and I was just waiting for some kind of plot to happen, but that never happens, and the characters are just what you see, and they're not interesting in the slightest, and all you really know about them is what you're told, and they either just leave the film and you never see them again, or they just get killed off. And that's pretty much every character in this movie in the first 15-20 minutes. And I didn't know any of them, so it's not like it matters that they're dead. And I don't care that they're getting killed, because there's nothing to like about them, because I don't know any of them. And you can make the argument for war films, oh, you don't really know who these soldiers are. Like Dunkirk, that movie got criticized for its very thin characters. But the difference between a film like this and Dunkirk would be that they have very different goals in mind. This one's trying to be more of a spy movie, or an action thriller, where as a war movie, I think that works much better, where you're there for the perspective of the soldiers and the character development that they're given. You already know what it's going to be, and the film trusts you enough that you've seen plenty of war films before, that you know what that they have families and they want to get back to them, and they just give you visual representations of not representations, but you see what they're going after. One guy has a wedding ring on, so you know that he's married, and another character has a photo to the side of him while he's flying a plane, and it's okay, he has a family, and that's pretty much all you need, and the rest of it is just visual presentation, and that's what makes it great. And the action is amazing in that movie, and the music is great as well, and the sound design and mixing is a little off, but there's so much about that movie that makes it really engaging for me, where in this movie pretty much none of those things worked for me. And I was just left kind of bored, and once the action started, it did get better because it's pretty much action after action scene after action scene after action scene, and it pretty much never stops. And I wasn't really bored because of that, and I felt as though the movie was going at a reasonable pace, but unfortunately, I can't say that it's good. A movie that is entertaining throughout does not equal a good movie, unfortunately, and because of that, I can't really give this movie a pass, and I wish that I liked this movie, and I was really trying to find something to get attached to, but by the end of the film, I found nothing, and I just couldn't connect to anything that was going on. So, unfortunately, I cannot recommend that you check this movie out. It just doesn't do anything exceptional, and anything that I like about it is just very minimal, or just what you would basically expect from a movie like this. It delivers on a lot of action going on, but there's nothing super impressive about it, and it's been done a million times before in other movies, and like Die Hard is a great example, and that movie is exciting, and I'm engaged in that movie because of what's going on, and it's very simple. It's just about a guy, in the wrong place at the wrong time, as they say in Die Hard 2, which is kind of funny. And in this movie, it's pretty similar. Just Steven Seagal in the wrong place at the wrong time, but he's already prepared to do all of this, and you don't really feel any tension because of that. Where in Die Hard, it's basically John McClane trying to get out of a situation because he doesn't want to die. Something that we can all relate to. Where in this movie, that doesn't really work for me because of how everything is presented. With all that being said, I'm going to give Under Siege a 4 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Under Siege, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for two things, because this is going to be a bit complicated. I'm planning on my next review being Jurassic World Dominion, and sometimes if I make plans to go see a movie in theaters, sometimes that doesn't always work out, so that's why it's maybe going to be that, but most likely it's going to be that. But on the off chance it won't, I have a backup, and that movie is going to be for St. Vincent. But until I get those reviews up, thank you for watching, and have a great day.